2 years back, the PC used to cost us 60,000 rupees and there used to be these ads. I think you can get yourself a PC now for 15, 18,000 rupees. You can get yourself a laptop for 25, 28,000 rupees. I think Microsoft launched the Xbox for about 19,000. I think they now have a scheme which is some kind of an exchange scheme at 12,000 or 14,000, something like that. So, of course it will come down. And the Indian market will find its own way of, creating a marketplace. You will also see the price points on mobile gaming. Mobile gaming is an interesting opportunity. The biggest challenge in mobile gaming right now is the quality of games that are there. And that is, in a way, resulting in lesser adoption. One is the price point as far as mobile gaming is still at a threshold which is not creating inflection. Certainly not for the quality of games that are being provided by most of the companies. So yes, I think you will see this culture evolve, and it's not for nothing that we are the youngest nation of the world, growing at 9.5% GDP with a kind of infrastructure with which you could easily add another 2.5% to our GDP. So that's technically 12% GDP growth. Tremendous amount of energy within the youth, within that age group 15 to 35, and they are all going to be prospects for new formats of entertainment. Also, I think one of the big things that's going to lead to an adoption of more gaming into this country is going to be the fact that conventional formats of entertainment, which is your television, your movies, etc., are going to now start bringing in an interactive experience which is gaming centric into their programming, and that itself will see a larger amount of so it's not going to be just about I'm Microsoft, I'm Sony, I'm Nintendo, here's my product, buy it as it is. And of course doing the sort of localized content thing and all of that. I think there's a lot that's been talked about. There could be a game on Mahabharata, there could be a game on that. I don't think that's really what we need, because we consume content in different ways. I mean, today we're consuming Spider-Man in Bhojpuri, and it's being consumed in an interesting way. It's about it's about preparing a certain consumer into a certain form of communication. And I think our media and entertainment industry is far too smart to miss out on this opportunity, and they will adapt to it. So don't be surprised that if our soaps as well, as they mature into making themselves more current and contemporary, you start seeing gaming culture coming into that and rivalry being driven by that, and that resulting in a higher adoption. I think that's going to have a far more significant role to play than some Microsoft and Nintendo going and creating 6 localized games, etc. So I don't think that genre is necessarily connected in with that kind of I mean, even Gandhi, see what happened with Gandhiji and Munna Bhai and the way it was packaged and the impact that had of that, as it were. So hopefully that will result in some positive traction. Where it stands today, it's negligible. I mean, if you see the numbers, let's look at the numbers, and unfortunately there isn't any sort of quality research to prove this, but just by virtue of us being in the market, I can share some insights. The PC-based gaming, from my own experience with retailers, organized retailers like Planet M and stores of that nature that I have spoken to, it's estimated that the total market is not upwards of $15–18 million. So it's like a 70–80 crore market as such, at tops. The mobile gaming business is, in my mind, again in that same 80 to 100 crore sort of range at end consumer price. A majority of that, anything ranging from as high as 90%, and yes, I'm saying 90% in some carriers. Some carriers retain as high as 90% of, so it's to the game development companies and the actual IPR owners, there's very, very little that's coming back still. I think the biggest chunk will be made up of the the Nintendos and the Xboxes and the PlayStations as such. which has only come into the market in the last few months. But there is enough research which is talking about this business, going to 2,000, 3,000 crores over the next few years. Right now, I would put ourselves, I think probably, number 40, 50 in the global marketplace as far as, as a market. But in a potential perspective, I would put ourselves in the top 10 markets in the world in the next 2 to 3 years. In the last 6 months itself, we've given in our own small way an interesting experience. We gave multiplayer gaming to this country. We've given Bollywood and gaming a huge fillip, starting with the first Bollywood-based multiplayer game in Dawn and extending that further. I think what we will see will be new formats of gaming in terms of touching your experience across multiple platforms. And I think that is something that we are working towards and looking forward to giving as an experience. And at the same time, I think more to reward them as far as gaming. Gamers are being referred to as the athletes of the 21st and 22nd century. So I think we need to give them some recognition as well. There is far too much recognition for the conventional sporting athletes and cricketers and whatever. But look around the world and you will find a tremendous amount of recognition being given to actual gamers, and we'd like to do something with that, hopefully with partners, etc., and take that forward. We will examine it. We have had reason, as the gaming space is gaining traction, so is the peripheral industry centered around that. So the other day we got a proposal from a leading financial paper wanting to do a 4-page supplement on gaming and wanting us to sponsor something in that, and which we said no to very politely, because I don't believe our gamers are centered around Dalal Street for the moment. So whilst gaming may be making interesting reading and maybe creating value as businesses, etc., and hence there is an affinity centered around that, but it's certainly not being driven by communities centered around the financial services right now. So we'll have to balance it, and as any interesting thing happens, we've seen this in the internet, we've seen this on the mobile, whenever there is an exciting thing that's gaining momentum, then you have to weed out the good with the bad, as it were. And there always is some bad, or some junk, as we'd like to call it. So, opportunities have to be examined in that manner, and we'll take it up as things come along. See, the government can always play a responsible role, and always, in most instances, it does do that. I have been a part of some sort of initiatives with forums such as CII and FICCI, and whom I am, associated with in different capacities, and we've tried to, some of us, some of my fellow colleagues from the gaming industry have tried to create consortiums and associations and things like that. Unfortunately, nothing conclusive has still come out of it. That does not mean that it cannot. We do believe that there are certain things which can be done to facilitate certain things. And I certainly think that there is an area wherein we need to weed out the negatives also. I think the role we need to play is we need to sort of educate the various stakeholders, and within that the government is one of them. Schools, colleges are the other, parents are the other, the adult community is the other, retailer community is the other. That this is a serious initiative. It, like anything else, it is a business. Like anything else, it has its sort of positives and negatives, as it were. So to answer your question, do you think the government can play a role? For sure it can.